This is Steve Piloff from George Mason University. Let's give a little intro into annuities due. Annuity due, fixed cash flow, takes place regularly, finite number of periods, which is the same as an annuity, but the difference is its next payment is immediately. So time zero is where we have the first payment, and suppose there's T payments, then the last payment is actually at time T minus 1. Because suppose there's supposed to be 5 payments, then you would see the 5 payments would be at time 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We count the number of payments, it's 5, but because they start right away, the last one will be there. The way we think about it is, okay, so we have the payment for the first period, it gets made at the beginning of that period, which is here. Payment for the second period, payment for the last period is there. So again, what's important is when specifically it takes place. So the first one is immediately, and there's a finite number of them. And so when we talk about a T period annuity, it'll make payments for T periods and it'll make T payments, but the last one would be at time T minus 1. What's the present value of an annuity due? It's just the sum of the present values of each payment. So you get the one today, the one in one period, 2, all the way out to the very last one. And even though there's T of them, the last one's made at time T minus 1, and that's what its present value would be. And you can do some algebra, and it simplifies to these expressions, which aren't particularly simple. So what we're going to do is let the financial calculator do the work, but what we're really going to be doing is having it do this work, where we'll tell it C so it knows the regular cash flow, we'll tell it R so it knows what to discount each of them by, we'll tell it that the payments start right away, and then we'll tell it how many of those payments there are. So again, mode matters when payment's not equal to 0, and when we're in begin mode, it tells the calculator that the next payment is made immediately. Next payment is made at time 0. So how can we find the present value when we've got essentially an annuity due? Well, if we tell it what payments equal, that's what the cash flow is, and we tell it N, which is the number of those cash flows, and then we tell it begin mode, the calculator says, aha, there are N cash flows equal to PMT, and with begin mode they start right away. So there's N of them, so you got the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the nth one, and notice out here at time N, there is no regular payment. In addition, you may have an extra payment, which if reflected under FV, takes place in N periods. So it doesn't matter if it's begin mode or end mode. If you tell it FV, you're saying there's an extra cash flow at time N. Tell the calculator I%, and it discounts all of these cash flows, and of course it will give you the opposite of the present value of all these cash flows. So that's how the financial calculator works when it's dealing with annuities due.